Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Ask a Witch, wherein the various instructors for Sanctum and sometimes guests will try to answer questions that we've been sent via email, TikTok, Instagram, Discord, Facebook, wherever, about how we personally practice our craft. Please keep in mind that this is a little different from our other classes where we try to be as unbiased as possible, keeping in mind that you always have an inherent bias, and that these are very specifically how we see things, how we feel about them, what we would do in our own personal practices. Okay, now that I've belabored that point again, the question that I'm answering today was sent to us on Discord. Question is, if a popular evangelical does something really bad and they absolutely deserve being punished for it, is it worth it to try and put a hex or to use baneful magic against them? I've heard different things about whether or not it is safe and viable practice to do so. Alright, so I've made it fairly clear in our other videos that I am pro-cursing, that it is part of my practice, and that I actually find the anti-curse rhetoric to be racist. So, amongst other things, I don't belong to a tradition that has any rules against cursing, or which claims that cursing will come back on someone. So keep in mind those perspectives as I proceed forward. I want to break this question down in pieces, and hopefully I'll be clear and make sense. No guarantees though. So to start with, if a popular evangelical does something really bad, when? No, not even that. Just, I believe that evangelical Christianity is already an inherently harmful religious movement. I think that TV evangelism and online evangelism does a truly staggering amount of harm socially and culturally. And the cults that have sprung forward from evangelism, worshipping whiteness, worshipping wealth, worshipping straightness, these death cults of everyone has to be white, wealthy, cis, and straight in order to deserve their basic human rights to be recognized and not consistently violated. And this is a rant for the rants, I suppose, the harm of evangelism. I am inherently opposed to evangelism in general. So when they do something bad, no, the entire religious movement is doing bad. Could there theoretically be a counterexample of an evangelist who's doing good? Theoretically, I suppose. Anything is possible. But I think that the movement in general is very harmful. So let me just start with that. And they absolutely deserve to be punished for it. Is it worth it to try and put a hex or to use baneful magic against them? Worth it how? Will it make you feel better? Will it make you feel like you are expressing your power in a world that wants you to feel powerless? Or if you do it and you don't see the return that you want to, will you instead be despondent? You know, worth it to whom? Worth it in terms of, do I think that you could potentially wreck their career or cause some other huge amount of harm to them? Well, then that actually goes to a different question. And I'm sorry, I know I always get a little weird with these. Do you think that magic is real? Do you think that what you do with your energy can have real world effects? Because if you do, and you're willing to live with the consequences of what you've done, if you wreck someone's career or cause some other harm to befall them, I don't know what the intentions behind your curse are, then as long as you can live with it, as long as you don't feel you've violated your ethics, then sure, I guess it's worth it. However, if magic is real, if that is the starting point, and it can have a real world effect on reality, right? If it can change the mundane world, then there are forces at work there that need to be considered beyond whether or not you can live with it, right? What do you mean, right? What is your example here? Let's say that there are forces that back up the evangelist, that are ready to throw down on the evangelist's behalf, either their deity that they represent or the servants of the deity that, you know, they claim to be representing, or maybe something that backs up evangelists because they like to feed off all the harm that comes from that religious movement. Maybe something that backs up the evangelist just because they like to see humans suffering. I don't know. There's all kinds of reasons why someone might back an evangelist beyond, I don't know, let's use a hypothetical situation where the evangelist has made a deal with an evil power to spread evil and to benefit from it, and that power is backing up the evangelist, right? And you throw a curse at the evangelist. You say, I curse you, and this thing goes, nope, that's a violation of the deal that I have with this evangelist. I have to defend them, so now I'm coming after you, right? Are you prepared to fight back if this comes back on you? Because people say, oh, the rule of three. Fuck the rule of three. I don't follow it. I don't believe in it. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about consequences. There are always consequences. Can you live with what you've done is a consequence. Might something be pissed off enough to come after you for what you've done is a consequence. So do I think that that is necessarily the Christian God? Which one? Because you can't tell me that the God being represented by some homophobic, transphobic, racist, misogynist, wealth-worshipping TV evangelist is the same God that is being worshipped by, say, a rabbi fighting for people's choice about their reproductive organs. They're not the same deity anymore. Whether they started as it, I don't know. That's beyond the scope of this question and the scope of my knowledge, but they're certainly not the same deity anymore. But the God that they theoretically worship, which if we're talking American TV evangelists, is wealth and whiteness. But if this God of money and whiteness and guns comes after you, or sends something after you because you cursed their favorite proselytizing idol worshiper, are you prepared to defend yourself against the counterattack? And if so, by all means, curse away. That is my perspective on this. Have fun. Curse all of them, from Joel Osteen to... Fuck, I can't even remember their names right now. Bring them all down if you can. I will help, but be prepared for something to lash back. Is there anything that I have left out? Safe or viable practice? I think I addressed safe or viable. I think so. As always, Yen will probably have a different perspective on this than I do, so I'm actually going to pause, go talk to him about it, and then see if he just wants to tack his on this or if he wants to have his be a separate video. So, be right back. So, it turns out that Yen wants to record his as a separate video, mostly because he's still at work. And it was like, no, go ahead and finish yours, and I will record mine when I am done at work. So, I'm gonna just say that it'll be linked somewhere up here if you want to see his take on this issue, which will be different than mine, because it is actually healthy to have your partner and you not always agree on everything. So we don't always believe the same things. Anyway, please remember to like and subscribe, and that you can send me questions that you want me to answer. I am also now extending this to if you want me to answer on TikTok, although I haven't figured out how to keep my answers to 3 minutes yet, so we'll see. Okay, thanks for tuning in.